Hi, I'm attorney Dave Maldonado, a seasoned litigator with over a decade of experience in Montana. Have you been injured in a car accident? If so, remember insurance companies want to give you as little money as possible. There's a reason why they have the biggest buildings in the largest cities. Don't let big insurance bully you. Visit BigSkyDefender.com today to see how I can help you get fair compensation for your injuries. The consultation's free and the fight's real.
So I knew that I could come into the game and just be like really aggressive, which I did right away. And as a shooter, once you see the first couple shots go in, you kind of get the tone set for the rest of the game, and that's just what happened.
Were you sparked a little bit too by missing the last one?
Yeah, I was very angry that I had to miss that game, and the fact that I was able to play today, I was lucky that I didn't have any symptoms from my concussion the last couple of days. So when I got cleared, I just knew that I had to take advantage of the opportunity because I might not be able to play next game. That's how my mentality was. So I just came out with no regrets.
You hit a couple threes early, but then you started either going to the rim or Aanen was feeding you some bounce passes. Could you talk about the process of going through that transition of deciding to go to the rim more instead of shooting those threes?
Yeah, so I had a couple threes early, and what they did as a defense is they started top blocking me, so I couldn't come off of those dribble handoffs and those ball screens. So I just made an executive decision to start back cutting, and then when the ball was in the post, I had a couple guys like Brandon Whitney set some back screens for me, and they're just not going to help off of me. And so I found myself getting easy layups, in the paint almost the whole second half, thanks to my teammates, and obviously the people that are giving me the ball.
You guys have played so many close games in conference play, so what's it like to close this one out? Does this give you a little momentum in that element?
Yes, it almost brings tears to my eyes when we actually win one of these games because it just gives us more hope as a team that we can get through this, because I think as a team we have a little bit of PTSD from the last couple games that we've lost in this same situation, and so when we come out with a win, it's like we're trying to create our own narrative, a new narrative for this year in the second half of conference play, and it almost is like two different seasons. So now, this is our new identity that we're going to win close games, and that's what you have to do to win in March.
Does it seem like a fresh start now that it is the second half of conference play?
We have a 2-game win streak right now, and we're going into the rest of the schedule really confident. Now we have our full team, which we didn't have early on. So I just think that right now it is a fresh start for us. And, we just won 2 pretty close games back-to-back. So.
Okay. To win 2 in a row, first time in Big Sky play, you guys have done that. Does that do anything for you guys mentally or psychologically or anything like that?
It does. Because Thursday was always our day through the whole conference play where we just could not find a way to get a win, and we should have. So now that we broke through that barrier, we just got to take care of business on Saturday, and we've already been doing that.
It's crazy how many close games there are right now in this league. Is everybody just that close?
Honestly, I just think that's the way the game of basketball is right now. Every team can get going every given night. Everybody has players. Everybody has good concepts that they run on offense. So it's one of those leagues where the talent level isn't that much different team to team, and so sometimes it just happens to be the one that executes better that night, or the one that shots go in for that night. And that's just what I believe the situation is in the Big Sky Conference.
When you've been in this conference before, can you compare it to past years, to just the state of the conference this year?
Yes. I was in this conference in 2017-2018 with University of North Dakota right after they had won it the year before and went to the NCAA tournament. And at that time, it was Montana, Weber, and University of North Dakota. And wherever you went to Idaho State, it didn't matter. That was almost a win for us. We just kind of chalked it up. Now, we didn't have a great year, but it just seemed like the league was divided in half. And I don't see that this year. I don't really see that.
I think you did against their 2 high scorers, number 1 and number 5.
Man, I think that we made it tough for them, as tough as possible. We tried to guard them as a group, 1 through 5, be in gaps, so they don't have any easy, points. They had 67 points, and they have 3 prolific scorers that can get 20 a night. So, the fact that their big guy probably was one of their leading scorers says a lot about what we did on the defensive end with their big 3, I guess.
Stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. Shorty what you want, shorty what you need. My niggas run game, we ain't never leave. Counting up this money, we ain't never sleeping. We got V12s, I got 12 V's. Got bottles, got want, I got what you need. Shorty, what you want, I got what you need.
Close out. Good one at home on a Thursday, so does this one feel pretty good?
Yeah, one, we needed a Thursday win. Two, we needed a close game that goes down the stretch where everything's not necessarily going your way and find a way to pull it out. So I'll take both of those in one night. I think we're headed in the right direction in that regard.
You think, can that give you some confidence just in managing these late game situations? I mean, Moody seemed pretty relieved just to get that victory.
No question. And you do. There's some games that we should have won. Unlucky. Guys running into baskets and things like that, and a couple calls not going your way or whatever. And so you just got to create your own luck. And I thought the guys did that tonight by just sticking together.
That's like 6 or 7 one-possession games for you guys in conference. I think they've played several. Northern Arizona's played like 6 or 7 as well. I mean, why is the margin of victory so slim in the conference?
I just, I think the talent, I think the coaching, there's not that much of a gap between teams. I think the biggest thing is the coaching staffs are doing a good job of preparing for one another and taking things away and then adjusting from the first game to the second game. So what worked for you in the first game might not work in the second game. You got to find something else. That's an in-game adjustment. That's not something that you can prepare for because you don't know what those changes are.
Moody's a guy that's a little different than you guys have had, especially offensively the last couple of years. I mean, he's so good at creating his own shot. How much does that help you guys offensively?
He moves well without the ball.
Yeah,
there just aren't very many guys like that anymore that continue to move until they get open. Everyone begs and then they want to massage. And a guy like him really fits what we do a lot better when you're trying to spread it out and you have multiple guys that are threats offensively. So he fits how we play in a major way. I think the other thing is his motive. He's always revved up. He's always ready to go. You never really catch him on a day that he doesn't, feel good, feel like being out there. And when guys are always revved up and ready to go, they typically are going to be more consistent.
You talked a lot about wanting to play with togetherness. Did you feel they played together today?
100%. And, you can always do a better job, right? You can make an extra pass. You can set a screen better. Maybe there's a rotation where you could have been there. But the intent was there. And everyone wanted everyone to play well. Everyone trusted one another to be where they needed to be. And I thought that's how we put out the win.
Moody moving off the ball, too, and Bannon's playing out of the high post. I mean, that seems to be working really well for you.
Right. No question. Bannon's a really good passer. He stretches the big away from the basket, so there's no rim protection. And not only Moody, but guys like Jackson Knapp and Whitney cutting to the rim, too. And when you've got good shooting, they got to honor those screens. So the spacing was good for us tonight.
What do you think of the defensive effort, especially on Connect and Kuntz?
I think guys did a good job. Lonell stood out in terms of just making it really hard for guys and making them work hard to get shots. I thought he fought through screens and was physical without just fouling too much, which is a problem we've had in the past. They didn't shoot a ton of free throws, and I think that's why we're going to hold them in the 60s.
You guys have played a lot of close games. Do you feel that's the way that it's going to be the rest of the season, or do you see signs of it changing?
No, you don't. You can't go into the game saying we're going to hope we blow them out, right? And like I said, I think all these coaches do a good job of preparing. I don't think there have been very many blowouts in conference in general. Right? We had one with Idaho State, and obviously we're on the wrong side of it at SAC. I don't know that anyone's got more than maybe 2 or 3 wins by more than 10 points in conference that I can think of.
Actually winning 2 games in a row in Big Sky play for the first time, can that do something for the team mentally? Or
yeah, it should give us a level of confidence. It definitely will give them more enthusiasm coming in on a Friday to prepare for NAU. I think it's a step in the right direction in terms of beginning to play the way that we felt we should have been playing in the beginning. And like I said, we look back at some of those games, we should have won them. You're up double figures, or you got lead, a 2-point lead with 4 seconds in the ball. You should win those games, and you're unlucky sometimes, and that happens. I've always said this: champions are lucky. You have the ball go in the basket at the buzzer a couple of times. You have an opponent miss a shot at the buzzer a couple of times, and your team probably stays healthy. We haven't had any of that. We've had our opponents make shots, and we've missed shots, and we haven't been healthy. So we got to get lucky physically, the things that we can control, and just continue to play the best basketball we can play.
You guys had a bunch of timeouts or reviews at the end, and then you finally inbound the ball and get it to Moody going down. How many different inbounds plays did you guys go to? What did you like about that play, and how did they pull it off?
Well, two of the holdups were just to double check on whose ball it was, right? Because there was a little fight for the ball. We've got quite a few inbounds. The last 2 I made up.
On the spot. during the time. What did you like about that one?
Well, they had a guy on the floor that I didn't think was a great defender, and so we had a screening action. If he was going to switch, his man was going to come open, which would have been Whitney. But we had Moody going deep, really to occupy. But if he's open, he's open. And I saw the way that Matt Johnson was defending him, so that's when I started screaming, Moody, Moody, Moody. And Bannon caught him on the fly.